Hello everybody, and welcome to a new series. I am your host, the Game Warden, and we at the Sean Games One are bringing you a completely new series for his channel. I don't know what it's called. Sean is going to probably name it something completely stupid and unoriginal. But moving on, this series is going to focus on games that are coming out soon and what you should expect from them, such as if a game from a company that has made great games in the past is flying under the radar, we'll alert you of that game. And if there's a game that needs to be taken down a notch because it's way too high flying for the company who is making it, then we'll alert you of that too. But today we're going to focus on Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Now some of you might be saying, well, Game Warden, why do you need to tell me about Call of Duty Advanced Warfare? I've already written it off. Call of Duty is a crappy company that just recycles its gameplay year after year after year. And that is true. But this game, if I'm right, is going to change Call of Duty and put it in the right direction. Why, you may ask? Sledgehammer Games is headed up by two people who made Dead Space 1. They also made GoldenEye 007 from Russia with Love, but that was neither as critically acclaimed or as known. But Dead Space 1 was a great game, as you all agree. 2. Sledgehammer Games has never made a Call of Duty game by themselves before. The only contact with Call of Duty they've had was a action-adventure game that they were working on. Third-person action-adventure game for the Call of Duty series right before the Infinity Ward split and lawsuit. They were pulled off that project to help fill the holes after that whole Infinity Ward fiasco, as you all might remember. Now, another interesting fact is that Call of Duty Advanced Warfare is the first Call of Duty game with a 3-year dev cycle in contrast to the usual 2 years. Now, that's a whole extra year, and that might not sound like a lot, but that is a lot. If Battlefield 4 had an entire extra year of just dev work, it would probably be a much better and much more complete game than it is. An extra year gives you more time to work out bugs, the hitboxes, the graphics, the gameplay, more integration than that. It's just an overall better thing to have as more time. Now, the plot seems to take on this Metal Gear Solid 4 Rising Revengeance-esque paramilitary company focus on how dark they can be. Military-industrial complex type of thing, but I'm not going to focus too much on the plot. I'm going to focus mainly on the gameplay, because that's what the Call of Duty series has been lacking in the past couple of years, is gameplay. One of the main gameplay features they keep plugging at is the new exosuit, which is very similar to the Crisis suit, but Crisis hardly invented the whole exosuit idea, so... Sorry, I had some technical difficulties with my play call, but the exosuit is a main gameplay staple. They like to call it a toolbox, which is very encouraging because that gives the player a lot more options. One of the things that the exosuit can do is something called overdrive, which will slow the gameplay around you. And it's actually you going faster, but for all intents and purposes, everything just slows down. Now, if you can pull that out in the middle of the game, whenever you want in the campaign, that would be great. At critical moments, just to slow down time whenever you need it, and not just at some bullcrap cutscene, would be an excellent feature. The jetpacks or jet boots, I think it's jetpacks, definitely jetpacks. That is a great gameplay feature that would just change everything about this series. It would allow you to do a much more aggressive gameplay, because instead of just setting up shop behind a wall and peeking your head out every now and then, you can now hop around and take advantages of enemies' flanks. And an aggressive gameplay is a lot more fun, it's a lot more enjoyable, more fast-paced gameplay is what we really need from Call of Duty. What's also great is the new weapons. They've taken their own original twist on the weapons. One of the cool thing about the new grenades is that there are these new grenades, and it's just one grenade, but you flip a switch between a frag grenade, a smart grenade, a threat detection grenade, And the threat detection grenade, you throw it and the circle comes out, and your enemies show up as red digital camo type thing. You can see them behind walls. Don't know how long the effect lasts. And the smart grenades you throw, and they hover there for a little bit, and then they chase after your enemy with a rocket. There's an EMP grenade too. I didn't get to see that in action in any of the trailers. And I think there's one more, but I can't remember. Maybe that is it. And as you're going to see here, the new gun, I like that they're taking a futuristic twist, because it was getting a little boring with just the standard guns. We like to see a little bit of originality. That reload, see that reload? That's pretty cool. And you're about to see the jetpacks in action. And another thing I wanted to touch on the jetpacks is if they do allow these jetpacks in multiplayer, which I hope they do, this would bring an entirely new gameplay setup, because now you can jump down, and if you use your jetpack right, you can avoid fall damage. And if you had some tall buildings, I mean, how fun would Battlefield 4 be if you had a jetpack? You just jump down from a skyscraper on some enemies and not accrue any fall damage. That would be great. Of course, there is the parachute, but that's not really the most wieldy thing in the world. But, you know, that's encouraging. I hope they include that multiplayer. And I wanted to touch back on the futuristic take. I think this is going to give Call of Duty a breath of fresh air, because now it's just not, we have to stick to real stuff. We can actually put the player in this pretend world and be immersive. I mean, you saw that mech suit. You've seen all the crazy vehicles here. You're about to see this guy with a pretty cool, I guess, heads-up display mask. I mean, this is all great. This is exactly what Call of Duty needs. And I like Sledgehammer Games' focus on gameplay instead of bullcrap like advanced fish AI and a dog that you can play as every now and then. I think you could only play it twice or 3 times in Ghost, which was complete bullcrap, and it wasn't even in multiplayer. All this stuff is probably going to be in multiplayer, and it's just an original twist for the Call of Duty series, actually focusing on gameplay for once, which is very, very, very nice. And again, I can't talk about how much of a breath of fresh air this futuristic twist, this original twist, Sledgehammer Games allowed to put their own twist to this. It's a great breath of fresh air. I really think Sledgehammer Games is going to be putting a Call of Duty in the right direction. It may not be the game of the year. I mean, Activision still has complete control over that. So we'll see if they screw this up somehow. But look for Call of Duty Advanced Warfare to put Call of Duty in the right direction and back to gameplay. And thank you all for watching. Next video, we're actually going to take Far Cry 4 down a notch. All of you are excited about that game, I know, but there are some things you should know before you hit that pre-order button. So wait next week for my video, and I'll tell you all about it. Thank you guys for watching, and have a good day.